Okay, so we've got a 2012 Mazda 3. This will apply to 2010 through 2013 Mazda 3s. I'm going to be doing just pads today, not rotors, because these ones are still fairly brand new. They were only replaced last year. I really don't need to replace the front pads, but I've just replaced the rear pads, and I want to have matching pads because I'm upgrading my factory pads to StopTech pads. So if you want to know how to remove the rotor, I have another video that I'll link, and you can watch that, and that will go over basically how to do an entire brake job, which is pads and rotors. So what we're going to start with, well, I'll tell you first, you're going to need a 17mm socket, a 7mm Allen, and I have a 3/8 ratchet and a long-handled ratchet to break the bracket bolts loose. I also have a pair of channel locks to push the piston of the caliper back in, and the flathead screwdriver to help taking this clip off. So the first thing you want to do is take this little retaining clip off, which pretty much just get in behind it, pop it out. It is under a little bit of spring tension, but not that much. So you just put your hand over it, and then there you go. Just have to work it out of there. There you go, like that. So my kit comes with new spring clips here, but basically there's two little holes in the caliper here, and there's these two little pins almost sit in there, and they hold the caliper. So next, what I like to do is rotate the whole assembly, just so it's a little bit easier to access what I'm working on. Next, you have two little dust caps around the back here, one on the top, so it's just a little cap right here, and there's a matching one on the bottom. So there's those two, and then once you get those out, you can get your 7mm Allen key, and you can go ahead and take the top and the bottom slider pins out. Okay, so once you get those out, there's the bottom one. You should just be able to kind of wiggle it out with your Allen key. And there's the top one. So they are the same, doesn't really matter where they go. Go ahead and set them off to the side. Now you can go ahead and take your caliper off. So you should just be able to pry it off there. Just have to work it back and forth. And then just like that. So with the front, your inner pad will come out with the caliper, and you can just go ahead and set that up here for the meantime. You don't want to pinch this brake line, and you don't want to let the caliper hang off of the brake line. So I just like to set it up here, or you can bungee strap it up to against the spring. So we'll take the outer pad off. As you can see, these pads are practically brand new. I just want to have matching StopTech pads in the front and the rear, but I will keep these because they're still good. So to take the inner pad off, I just like to grab the caliper upside down and just work the ears of the pad out, and you can see it has a little clip right here, and that's what holds it in the actual piston. Next, you want to either take the bracket off if you're going to be taking the rotor off, or you can clean it up on the car. I'm probably just going to take it off to clean it because that's a lot easier. So that's where you'll need your 17, and there's two bolts in the back here. You can just go ahead and break those loose. take those bolts out, and they're the same top and bottom, so it doesn't matter where they go. And then you can take your bracket off. Okay, so I've gone ahead and cleaned this up, cleaned in here where the pads go, and now I can go ahead and throw it back on. So I'm going to take both of the bolts and I'm going to put just a little bit of Loctite on them. So now we can go ahead and tighten up the bracket. And we'll tighten her down by hand. You want these to be fairly tight. Okay, so before we put the pads in, we are going to push the piston back. In the caliper here, you can use many things. You can use C-clamp. I've just chosen to use channel locks. Okay, so now you can see we've pushed the piston back in and it's flush right here with the dust boot. I'm going to go ahead and when I put this back on, I'm going to go ahead and put some anti-seize or a brake lube on the back of both of the ears of the caliper here, as well as I might put a little bit on the front here. That just helps cut down on brake squeal, because that's where a majority of your brake squeal comes from, metal to metal contact of your actual brake assembly, and it's not the pad on the rotor. Okay, so you can see I've put the inner pad on off camera just because it was a little bit tricky. Now I'm going to put the outer pad on, and you can tell it's the outer pad because it doesn't have the clip on the back. So that just slides right into the bracket there. Sits nice and flush. And then I'm going to go ahead and take just a little bit of anti-seize and put it on the inner ears of the caliper here just to help with squeal. Okay, so I've gone ahead and put anti-seize on the inner side of both of these, and now we're ready to put it back on here. So you just want to slip it over the outside pad and make sure the inside pad doesn't bind up against anything, and it looks like we're good there. So we can go ahead and put the slider pins back in here, but first I'm going to clean them up and put a little bit of brake grease on them. Okay, so I've gone ahead and put a little bit of brake grease on the sliders. I've already put the top in, and we'll throw this one in the bottom, just like that, and then thread it in just a couple threads in the bottom, and we'll do the same on the top just till it catches a couple threads, just like that. And then we'll grab the ratchet and we'll put them on the rest of the way. Okay, so those are nice and tight now, and you can see there's a little bit of movement there, which is good, which means the sliders are doing their job. Now we can go ahead, put dust caps on the back, and we'll put the new clip on the front here, which I have in the box. There's the new clip, and there's my baggie of new dust caps. So there's two new ones there. They just clip in like that, and same on the bottom, like that. And then go ahead and put our new clip on. Straighten out the wheel for this. Okay, so again, two little holes in the caliper there, two little holes to line up. Put the bottom on, and you can use a pair of pliers or flathead screwdriver. You just want to get that on the back side here. And this can be pretty tricky. Just takes some patience. Just like that. You can see it's on there, and the same on the bottom. And now the only thing left to do, throw your wheel on. That's about it. You're done. If this video was helpful, feel free to leave a like and let me know in the comments below.